Welcome, everybody, to Learn with Lowell. Today, we're continuing our Millennial Monday on Tuesday series. Today, we're joined with Dr. H, who is here to give us an inside look at pharmacies and how he bought one and continues to run it successfully, I hope. Hussam, welcome to the show.
What's up, man? It's good to hear from you, Lowell.
Yes. So, the big thing that I definitely want to start with is why buy a pharmacy versus work in one or do anything else you could have done in a pharmacy? Why buy one? What's like the value of that for yourself?
So the easiest way I can explain this is that it all started for me in high school. It's that awkward phase of trying to figure out what it is, the type of person you want to be and where do you want to be when you grow up. I decided that I was really into punk rock music. I love the whole idea of it. The Clash was my favorite band. It was the early 2000s. That's just something I delved into. Flash forward a couple of years later, my first year of college, University of North Carolina. One of my really good friends, his name is Adam. He passed away from a drug overdose. And at that moment, I was with him. I didn't know what to do, didn't know anything about the whole drug scene. I wasn't really into the whole Percocet or anything like that. And
at any point in this conversation, if you find value in it, please subscribe. It is hugely beneficial, and it tells Google and everyone out there that this is content worth watching. Thank you for everyone thus far who has commented, liked, subscribed, and told their friends.
I learned real quick is just how much can you learn from such a small item as a pill, as a capsule, as a liquid, or as a cream that can help treat patients. And that's kind of where I wanted to go into pharmacy. Did the usual route, became a CVS pharmacist, moved up the ranks, became a manager, eventually became a district manager of CVS. I was in charge of 21 stores in the Fort Worth area. I saw myself as a suit, and I didn't like that persona of myself. My old high school self, my punk rock self, saw this guy who's a corporate wig that I just didn't like that about me. And so I stepped down as district manager. They paid me well. CVS was great, learned a lot. And I wanted to do more. I got a job as an independent pharmacist, didn't purchase one yet, just so I can see that side and kind of see how patient care went and meeting with new patients and keeping things small and local. Decided to purchase that pharmacy in 2019. So it's been 4 years now that I purchased Stonebriar Pharmacy. Really became a big part of our community here in Frisco. I've loved meeting people. I see my patients at the gym. They meet me for consultations. So it's just being a part of that community and purchasing a pharmacy was probably one of the more rewarding things I've done in my career. And it really went back to my roots of taking it to the man and being a part of the community at the same time.
It kind of reminds me of that. It has that feeling like Steve Jobs and Apple, that like those rebel makers that want to build something to change an industry. Is there any of that in what you're trying to do, where you want to be like the Apple, like the microcomputer for the pharmacy, where you build, like, I don't know how you do that for the pharmacy. I don't understand how you do it, but maybe like franchise, you like create like a standard of great pharmacies that go into communities and do a great job. Like, do you have any of that ambition for yourself, like a Steve Jobs almost?
Yeah. So between my business partner and I, we actually have 4 pharmacies within the DFW market. And so we've been able to expand. And now we're actually just had a meeting today discussing more about the rebranding of making just one big brand between all the pharmacies. So that way we can have a bigger presence within DFW. And for us specifically, we were primarily focused on compounding and wellness, meaning that for me, I do have my doctorate in pharmacy, but I'm also a certified sports nutritionist. My partner also has his specialty. So we have more of a nutritional wellness side to pharmacy that I feel like for me, the future pharmacy is tough because I'm assuming soon an AI or robot's going to fill prescriptions for you, and it's not going to be me. Right. And I have to, to diversify. So we have to figure something new out to help our profession. So with that network and building a wellness community, we're able to offer things like recently I just had a low dose naltrexone class. We have a hormone specialty class where you come in, you learn about our product, and you can either have a consult with us or just fill your prescriptions. So we're trying to build a whole umbrella of a wellness brand now is what we're trying to build towards.
How do you know what a person needs without tests and stuff to like get a baseline? So I imagine when I go to my doctor and I get my yearly checkup, they steal a bunch of my blood, do a bunch of tests, and then they know, oh, okay, I have like a hormone deficiency or I have vitamin D or anything like that. On your side, someone comes in, how do you know how to make the right compound or how to give them the right hormone so that they can lead a healthier, more happy life?
So there's 2 parts to that question. The doctors that we work with, so when you go see your doctor, you get your lab results. They usually send me those lab results, and then I build compounds based off of your hormone levels. So, for example, one of the doctors here, he'll send me for a female. She's premenopausal, meaning that she's right before that age where her hormones start to dip down, and so we start to build a protocol for that patient based off of that. One big thing in pharmacy that a lot of people miss, and you'll miss this at other pharmacies, is that whenever you start taking a medication, you're really susceptible to nutrient depletion based off of the compound. For example,
Hmm.
a patient has taken a very common over-the-counter medication, Nexium, or any something for what we call PPI for acid reflux. If you're on that for longer than 3 weeks, your vitamin D and vitamin K levels drop dramatically. Vitamin D is in charge of heart health. It's in charge of bone health, your mood. It actually has some qualities around depression and anxiety. And so I know your medications, and I know what nutrients are missing from you based on your medications. And so I build we have a powder form for vitamins now, where you can get all your vitamins in powder form. You give me your list of medications, and I build it. We'll ask you questions like, are you getting enough sun? How often do you feel stressed? There's a questionnaire that we have, and then I build a formulary based on that for you.
That sounds amazing. I think for people listening, just to give some like context, because this immediately made me think of like there's a person in my family that like doctors just started giving like a ton of drugs trying to figure out what was going on. And at one point in time, their wife had to get like this massive how drugs interact with each other book to start going through and be like, and they found every drug was interacting with each other, and the first four drugs were causing something that the next four drugs are trying to solve, and then the next four drugs are trying to solve. So like, for people listening who aren't sick or don't have to take a lot of pills, it's the knowing how things interact is huge in this space. So I love, and I had no idea. I wonder how their vitamin levels were, because they went from
terrible.
They went from from 16 prescriptions down to 2 over a year, and that was just a person taking the charge. Doctors didn't think about that at all, which is very disappointing. But so it's amazing that you think of that and the vitamins and all these other things I've never thought of. Is there? I feel like a general healthy person. Is there like stuff that you like to do? Like if you're just like, I don't know,
absolutely.
trying to like soup yourself.
Yeah, I have my own protocol that I take for myself. So a little context. I'm 36 years old. I was about 2 years ago. I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. I was 275 pounds, horrible shape. This is back when I was working with a corporate gig, and I quickly had to take a grasp on my health to obviously get better. I lost 40 pounds based off of the diet and exercise that I was working on. I completely reversed my diabetes, which you never thought was even possible. My sugars were for a person like a normal person, usually sugars like 100, 120. Mine was over 400, man. I was sick as hell. Yeah, I was in really bad shape. But I sat down for myself and I was like, all right, I'm gonna figure this out, and I'm gonna teach people how to figure it out as well. So for me, I focus more on the sports side. So my three go-to vitamins every single time for every patient. I mean this for almost every single patient. Obviously, consult your doctor and pharmacist before you start anything. Magnesium, vitamin D with K2, and creatine. Creatine is amazing in certain doses, right? Not overdoing it.
I think when I was playing sports, they said creatine was good for bulking up, but that when you stop taking it, you get squishy.
That's from water weight.
Yeah.
That's from water weight. If you take too much, you gain too much water weight, and so it makes you look swole. But if you take it at a baseline level, at a very low level, then it keeps it consistent throughout your body.
Mm-hmm. Even if you stop taking it, it's not like okay. Yeah, those are three interesting ones. Why magnesium? I haven't heard of.
Love magnesium, bro. I have an hour-long episode on my podcast about magnesium, but I'll keep it simple. There are three main salts of magnesium that we want to talk about. The first one is mag citrate. That's the drink that you get from their pharmacy. It's like a clear drink that you drink when you're constipated or before you're supposed to do a colonoscopy. That just helps flush everything out. The two main ones that you like to take by mouth are magnesium malate and magnesium glycinate. Those two together help with muscle rejuvenation, helps with bone health, and it actually helps with anxiety and sleep. The best way I can explain within the body, whenever you start get depleted on certain vitamins, your body finds a way to get it. For example, vitamin D, when you don't get enough vitamin D, it starts to break down bone and it starts to break down some vessels in your heart. And that's why the vitamin D supplementation is so important. The same goes for magnesium. Magnesium is in charge of the ATP pathway within cells to help promote energy. So ATP is energy of the body. And it also helps with rejuvenation of muscle soreness too. And so it helps with those tight legs after working out.
Interesting. Are you into the longevity aging thing? Because the vitamin D, there's a lot of stuff coming out now where they're saying like vitamin D is like one of the big supplements, whatever you want to call it, that people should be taking to age healthily as well.
Vitamin D with K2 specifically.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay. So then, have you heard of the Brian Johnson, like his blueprint thing?
No.
Oh well, basically, Brian Johnson's like this very very wealthy person,
Uh-huh.
and he's made like this blueprint to age healthily. He's taking like a bunch of vitamins, whatever. I'm talking to him about coming on the show actually. So Brian, if you're listening, you're still welcome to come on. But I've had a lot of people on, and people say good things, people say bad things. But as someone who is more on the pharmacy side, it would have been interesting. I should have sent it to you in advance. So I was going to ask that question. But basically, he has like a massive protocol. like he tracks his erections when he sleeps. I don't know. I think Brian, I don't know why you do that, but I think it's funny.
That's pretty intense.
Yeah. So when you said protocol, I thought something around there. I heard around your age, because I'm getting close to your age. That we like our testosterone starts going down to the point where like usually people start like slapping on testosterone patches or something.
Yep.
To like regulate that, or else like I don't know what negative thing happens when you lose testosterone on a normal level, but I know that there's a deficiency that starts happening.
So whenever you have start having, specifically for men, when you have the testosterone drop, you have your arms start to shrink, like the muscles in your arms start to get smaller. You have a decreased libido, decreased energy. That kind of tailors for both men and women. It's basically the hormone that makes a guy a guy. Like it gives you the umph, the libido, the drive. I'm a proponent. I don't want to take testosterone yet, mostly because my wife and I are still trying to have kids and stuff. So that's more important, because you do start losing sperm efficacy after you start doing testosterone. But there are natural ways that we push for, especially in the nutrient side, nutraceutical side, to help with testosterone. One of them is called tripsium. It's a common vitamin that patients take, made by pure encapsulations, that helps boost testosterone metabolism from depot testosterone, DHT for short, in the human body. There's a lot of different things that you could do to help improve testosterone naturally. And one of them, the easiest way, is just working out. Like if you work your muscles out, that produces more of the DHT and the DHEA pathways to increase your testosterone levels.
Yeah. I think everyone's workout's different. I guess like for most people, it's just get out and go. Because I'm in the process of losing weight too. I've lost, I think I should lose about 10 pounds more by the end of the year, which would be great. Nice. I was at like 260 2 years ago. Now I'm at 245.
Okay, bro. I see you.
I think I figured it out. Basically, the key is get your wife on it too.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, a partner with it is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's more like you're not getting roadblocks. Like, oh, you're trying to get healthy. The other person doesn't want to do it.
Man, my wife is 5'3" and like 120 pounds, bro. She can eat whatever she wants and look great. And then me, I'm just like, I eat a cupcake and my ass shakes for a week, bro. It's not fair.
Yeah. It is unfair. Actually, this reminds me, I'm in a tangent because I was about to ask you about like what you exercise, but I'm in a tangent. There's a person in my family that eats, and if they're listening in, mountains of cinnamon. They'll have like a bowl of applesauce, and there's probably as much cinnamon as applesauce. And I think this person's killing themselves. I thought they were doing it like as like, oh look, Lowell, like I don't mess with me because I thought it was messed up. No, they ate like 3 bowls of it. Is there any like I've heard that cinnamon boosts your immune system? They're like rail thin. But like, is there any truth to that? Like the cinnamon boosting your immune system, or is that like wives' tale?
I mean, it is a tale. I'm not gonna to shit on anyone's diet, I guess, but that's weird. Yeah, sorry whoever's listening, but it's cool, man. But I don't think it's not doing much for you.
Okay, no, I didn't. No, I told them the wives' tale, and I just was thinking I don't know if that's true or not because I read it, but then I thought maybe okay.
I mean,
I don't know.
My rule is if something sounds like a miracle or sounds too good to be true, then it's probably not true. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think all it does is like boost your metabolism.
It could. I mean, very well could, but how much is it improving it? Right?
Yeah, probably not a mountain full.
Yeah, probably not. I don't think so. Yeah,
it's a lot.
There's only so much your body can absorb in general. Like no matter what you take, like your body can only absorb like based on bioavailability a certain amount, right? So everything else you're just basically just shitting out anyways. So.
That's what I don't know if you're into like the alt protein space, like plant based or anything like that.
Yeah,
I've had a lot of the founders on, and I talked to them. And that's usually the number one question I ask somewhere in the podcast. It's like, what's the bioavailability of what you're making? And you have to. They kind of like they'll talk around this really fast.
They won't give you the
usually.
Answer.
Yeah, it is not good. It is like if a steak is like, let's say a one, just for like people ease of listening. If you can absorb a steak like 80% efficiently, a plant version or an alt protein version is like 20%. It's like it's you have to eat like 3 times as much. It's crazy.
And in the nutrition world, we always say that food is the best medicine, man. The food that you take is better than anything else that you do.
Yeah, is there Well, you're in Texas, so maybe just like go get a Longhorn. But like, what's your ideal diet for yourself?
Oh man, I have I've gotten a lot looser now that I'm healthier than I was before. I have 6 meals a day versus the
Mhm.
traditional three, just so I eat less throughout the day, kind of thing. Um, the type of snacks that you have is the most important. Breakfast is not that important as much as people want to say. Your highest carb that you ever should take should be in the morning because you can use it to burn off the rest of your day. And at night, you should have your dessert before you have your dinner. That's my rule because you want to have the dessert, then have the protein to burn it off.
And then circling back, we started out with going into pharmacy, and now we're talking about nutrition. But
Sorry.
what? No, that's my bad. There's no bad to it. We're having fun. But
You
anyway,
told me not to go on a tangent, though. I'm trying.
No, I didn't
was
say no
rule one.
tangents. I have no
What did you
problem
say?
saying this up front. I said no monologuing.
No monologue.
As people
Sorry,
know,
sorry.
you can. We're gonna tangent like crazy, and that's
Okay,
fine
okay.
because that's fun. But yeah, no monologuing.
No monologues. Okay.
We had like a 2-minute conversation where I just kept saying, "Please don't monologue."
Yeah, it was like that was the only rule I had. I was like, so can I curse? Yes. Okay. No monologues.
Yeah, you can
No,
curse.
no.
Yeah, you can curse. You can talk.
I said three. I've said three.
There was a person on recently who started talking about like a genocide, and they're like, "Is it cool to talk about this? Like, if it's happening and you care about it, and I'm going to ask you questions about it, and just don't give me shit, but we can talk about it." But anyway, so back to non-genocide topics. What all did you need to have in place? So you were working at an independent pharmacy, and I've read online as well that's usually how a good way to do it. So you work at a place, you kind of take it over when they're retiring. But what all did you need to have in place to buy that? Is it, I don't know, a loan or something? I don't know. How does that work?
I was really lucky in that the place that I purchased, the company was just looking to just close the place. They weren't really looking for any money, which was lucky for me. So I basically just lowballed the hell out of them and said, "Hey, I'll buy it with the medications for this price. You accept it?" And they were going to close it, so they were going to take zero anyway. So I was like, "I'll just take the contracts." Is basically what I was paying for. So I was very lucky in the way that I was able to get my own pharmacy. The biggest issue was that I wasn't able to pay myself for 6 months because the cash flow wasn't as strong as it is now. So a support system, my wife, the beautiful wife that she is, suffered through working a job that she fucking hated just to make sure that we had food on the table and I wasn't getting paid. So between June and I would say end of November, early December, I was just relying on her paycheck. And it wasn't until December 2019, 2 months before COVID, by the way, that I was able to pay my first paycheck, which was amazing. You know, it's cool to be able to pay yourself for the first time. Like I made sure my techs were paid, rent was paid, everything before I was the last one to get my paycheck. So making sure you have the support system around you is the easiest thing that I could tell you. You don't want to rely on friends, never go into business with your friends. But yeah, my wife is, to this day, I would do anything for her. She's got me for life. She's stuck with me forever.
Yeah, the idea on the wedding band. I'm sure there's like a trained sniper somewhere out there to make sure that
Mine has sensors on it, so I'm pretty sure that's what these are.
She knows where
pretty,
yeah.
yeah.
She's tracking you.
Yeah, she probably. It's not like the watch, the phone, everything else is tracking. So that's cool, baby. John, I love you. You heard this.
Is it? I'll clip that and put in the beginning. Is there? I assume it's not normal for someone to want to sell something at cost. Like, there's no way to like find opportunities where they're about to close it. You have to kind of like be in the know. Like, there wouldn't be any advice you'd give someone to find opportunities like that.
Pharmacy is a small world, and if you get into an independent pharmacy, I can tell you now, especially on the East Coast, most of the owners are older. Like, they want to get rid of their pharmacy eventually. And so if you want to get into it, get in there, learn for a year or two, and hey, maybe you decide to open another one with your partner, the pharmacy owner that you have there. Or if you want to purchase it off their hands, that's definitely something you could do. For someone like me, where I'm just getting into business, I'm going to charge the shit out of you to buy my pharmacy. Let's just be clear, because I put my blood, sweat, and tears in there. Other places may not have done that. So it's knowing the right people. Some people have to use a pharmacy broker to find these deals. But it's just getting out there, man. That's really it. It's just exposing yourself to other people. And most pharmacy owners are really open what they want to talk about. I mean, they'll tell you, hey, I'm suffering because of XYZ, or hey, we're doing really well with XYZ. It's just getting yourself out there and meeting people is the easiest thing I can tell you. LinkedIn is a great tool to meet pharmacy people.
Is there outside of LinkedIn, is there like, usually there's a conference that really defines an industry where most people, if you ask 10 of them, they'd probably put it in the top 3 or 4. Is there that, what is that conference for pharmacists like yourself?
There's 2 of them that I really like. I really like McKesson Idea Share. That's once a year. This last year it was in Vegas. I didn't go this year because I had another conference I was speaking at. But that's a really big one. McKesson's one of the large drug wholesalers in the country, and they have all their network pharmacies are invited. And usually people bring their team. They'll bring and there's a whole bunch of vendors that you can meet. The other big one that I really like is called Diversify RX. Shout out to my friend Dr. Lisa Faust. She's the one that let me speak at her conference. She specializes only with independent pharmacies, and what she does is that she finds new revenue options for pharmacies, and she does a great job with. She helped expose me to a lot of different things to help boost my pharmacy too.
What I assume, this probably goes without saying, but if you want to open up a pharmacy or buy one, you probably should have a medical degree, or you should have someone that's about to be on the payroll, or like, how does that work?
You have for pharmacy specifically, you do have to have a pharmacist on payroll. I know plenty of pharmacy owners that are not pharmacists. The guy I spoke to earlier today, Dan, he's a founder of Hometown Pharmacy in Wisconsin, and they have 70 pharmacies in their network that he partially owns or has some sort of ownership for it. And he's not a pharmacist; he's a marketing guy. You have to have a pharmacist working, a pharmacy manager in each pharmacy.
And then, can you ship out? I think there was a pill pack or something that like really changed, and they said that there was a group of people somewhere in the chain of like how things work where they had to negotiate a deal with them, like Scripps or something, but that Scripps didn't want to give it to them, like the ability to ship prescriptions, because that's what Scripps does.
Yeah.
So like, what are you? I guess what can't you do now that you have a pharmacy, now it's up and running? Are you able to ship things now, or do you have to have like special license to do that? Like, how easy is it for you to just expand and get what you make into people's hands? Because sometimes people, maybe they have mobility issues or they're walking, like they work too much, and it would be great if it just showed up at the door. But like, that's just one example.
Yeah, well, I mean, we offer free delivery all over DFW. That's just something we offer for all of our prescriptions. We specifically Stonebriar. Other pharmacies might be different. There are other pharmacies you have to have your license in whatever state you want to ship to. And so if you have, like, for example, if we're here in Texas and I want to ship to Oklahoma, I have to have my Oklahoma license, and my pharmacy has to have an Oklahoma license. We used to have our license for Florida, but I wasn't really seeing the benefit from that. So I stopped using, I discontinued our license with Florida. But yeah, wherever you want to ship to, you do have to have your license, your pharmacy license in that state.
Okay. And then what, other than, I guess, the big hurdle, taking the 6 months without a pay hit, without paying yourself is huge, but what were some of the other big hurdles that you overcame in the first couple of years, other than, COVID?
Yeah, COVID was fun. That was a great time. A lot of the regulatory stuff is stuff to get used to. When everything comes down to you now, where you don't have like a corporate overlord watching over you to make sure you don't do anything wrong. So making sure that your regulations are tight. Board of pharmacy visits, as scary as they may sound, they're very helpful because you learn some of your gaps that you're not aware of. I mean, that's what learning is all about. So these boards will always try to help you to make sure that you're doing things the right way and being safe for patients. I learned, for me, what type of leader that I wanted to be within my pharmacy. I knew my limitations, and I had to find someone to help me with those limitations. That was a rude awakening, because coming from like the CVS ego, oh, I can do whatever the hell I want to do, to this was very humbling, because I learned, as like, oh my God, I'm a terrible marketer. I don't know how to market my pharmacy. I'm just hoping somebody finds me, basically. So I instantly had to become an SEO expert, had to figure out the whole social media thing. My wife has been pushing my TikTok, which is really annoying. But it's just, you just have to find your own gaps, and everyone's going to be different. I'm very operationally minded, and I'm a people person, so I'm able to lead. Someone else may be really good at, making sure that everything is done in the correct way, but aren't really great with hiring. Those are some of the main issues that we have right now. I'm trying to hire. It sucks trying to hire right now.
Who are you trying to hire? What are some of the people that you're looking for? Because everyone's looking for opportunities.
Yeah, right now I'm looking for a technician trainee that's able to come to the pharmacy and work. And I'm also looking for I'm about to fire my virtual assistant. So I'm looking for a new virtual assistant. That's my big thing right now.
What'd they do wrong?
It's more of a joke. I know, it's all good. I mean, I'm picky. I like things done a certain way. I thought she understood that. It's been 6 months and she doesn't. And as much as I try to teach her, I'm wasting my time teaching where I could have just done it myself. And so I need someone to just learn for the month, which, everybody has to learn, and then see how I like to do things and just fucking stick to what I want to do. Don't do anything weird. That's it. It's pretty easy.
Yeah. And then for the technician, I assume they have to be around Texas.
Yeah, they do, because they come in. Yeah. They got to come in and work.
Well, no, I meant like some I'm used to remote stuff, but
Mhm.
there was a company I worked for that was giving people like a percentage of their pay up front or something, like a sign-on bonus if they moved from X to Y to get like opportunities. I know in the
Mhm.
Midwest in particular, like the coasts have these great schools. And so the
Mhm.
Midwest has been like a lot of companies been finding like, hey, we'll give you a bonus of some kind to come out and then build in the Midwest. And once they're here, like they fall in love or whatever, and then they can't leave. And then
Fall in love with the Midwest? Really? People do that?
the women or the
Wait,
men.
that's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true. I've been a few places in the Midwest, but I'm an East Coast guy originally.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying like, is that like something you'd want to do?
I don't,
Like
I mean,
if it got to it, I guess.
I think it would be cheaper for me to, I'll be, frankly, it'd be cheaper just for me to find somebody here. But if I was in dire need, probably. But right now, it's more of like a pain in the ass rather than, oh my God, I'm going to die kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess if the difference between an A player and like presumably like a C to B player doesn't really affect things all that much,
Yeah.
then yeah, I
Yeah.
guess like pulling around you. Yeah.
I just need someone to be pretty and smile, man. That's all I really need.
Okay. Well,
You could
let's
do it,
hope that's
Lowell.
not used
You could do
against
it, man. You
you.
can smile and pretty. Look at man.
I don't think I what degree do I need to
You
come
don't
to?
need
I'll
any
come down
degree.
to
I'm just
Texas.
messing with you, bro. You're overqualified. I can already tell you.
Well, I mean probably, but if you looked at my resume, yeah. But I'll come. I'll do it for a weekend, and I'll
Thanks,
record
man.
it, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
we'll put it online, and we'll use it as an advertisement for your thing.
We'll just avoid all the HIPAA stuff, and yeah, I think that would work.
I've like read HIPAA a couple times.
There you
I'll
go.
just
You
not.
read
I'll
it?
not. Yeah.
Really?
I was
I don't think I've read
well,
it.
yeah. It's not interesting. There's
I don't
nothing
think
good in there.
so. I mean,
Yeah, it's like I think most of it is gone off from my brain. Other than I know where to go if someone was doing something bad. But
there you go. Yeah.
so
Okay.
all right, so hiring people that's difficult. For regulations, you said at when you're CVS, it's easier because there's a team helping you. When you're independent and you're small, how do you handle regulations if it is that difficult?
I stole stuff from CVS. That's what I did. I'll be
Okay,
honest with you. I did.
the
I had,
processes.
yeah, they're like their SOPs. I had like as a district manager, I had them already, and so dummies never came and took it from me. And so I had all the SOPs, what they do. So I just adopted those, changed them over to Stonebriar, reviewed them, had my attorney review them, make sure they looked good, and we're off. And I think that's the hardest thing for a lot. And to be frank, in pharmacy, there's a lot of gray areas that some pharmacies like to operate in. We specifically will never do that. So I have horrible anxiety. I'll never be able to chill out from it.
Mhm.
So it's ensuring that we're doing things the right way, just to ensure patient safety, man. That's the whole reason we're doing this is to patient safety and helping people lead a healthier life. And if I can do that, it's in a better way. I'm 100% in.
I think before we hit record, you were mentioning that there are pharmacists that aren't, I don't know, ethical or whatever is the right word for it.
Yeah.
If there's a standard that you appreciate, is there would you ever want to like give some of those SOPs or whatever in like an open source fashion, and
Yeah.
then you're like boosting the community, and the people would
Yes.
see you as more of like okay, you do
Oh,
that?
absolutely. I would be down. I've offered my services for free for pharmacies all over the country. I've helped. I have pharmacy owners in Wyoming, California, the East Coast, and I've offered my services just because I want to better our pharmacy. And I became friends with them, man. I'm a believer in helping people first and worrying about money second.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's good because the when you said that to me, it's like okay, how do we change that then? You know,
Yeah.
like what's a scalable way? Like the Dr. H wiki page
Mhm.
for running a pharmacy right for the
Mhm.
right reasons
Yeah.
correctly.
I mean, if you okay, so even if you weren't sure about how to do things, I don't want to say legally, but maybe you're not doing it under the pretenses of your specific state board. Like, let's say, what's an example I can give? Let's say you genuinely made a mistake on accident, right? And you tried your best to fix the situation, right? I have every right to help this person for a mistake that I made, but they have every right to go to the board of pharmacy and let them know that hey, Dr. H made this mistake, which is fine, right? It's all about patient safety. But does the board know that I genuinely made an accident and tried to remedy the situation? Maybe, right? It's just knowing that what I want to do is I'm doing it for the better of the patient. I'm not trying to break any rules. I'm not trying to divert any medications or anything like that. But just I genuinely care about the patient. And I think if we put that in the forefront and you have that as your mindset and you're genuine with it, because you can tell when someone's disingenuous, especially in pharmacy,
Mm-hmm.
where they care about the bottom line versus patient care. If you have that at the forefront, man, everything else comes up behind it. And I'm very thankful that I have really tried to be a good example for other pharmacy students, other pharmacists, younger pharmacies, because I genuinely care. I really do care about my patients' well-being. And that's something that can't be taught, I feel like. And a lot of pharmacists and a lot of pharmacies see that red number from the insurance company, meaning like they're losing money, and they're like, oh shit, I need to do something to fix it. Let me just fudge things around a little bit. You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
And I'm not a believer in that. I was raised different. Like we talked about beforehand, my parents immigrated here in the 80s from Syria. Raised me a certain way. I had a high ethics standard, and I'm still trying to keep up with their expectations. But if you hold yourself to that high of a level and teach people how to do things the right way, I feel like any professional will do well.
Yeah.
Was that a monologue?
No.
Okay. I was like thinking about
No.
the whole time. I was like, is this a monologue?
No.
Am I gonna
Don't
yell
worry. No, I won't yell at you. You'll know when you like. Look, how about this? If you monologue, I'll look that way, and so you'll know.
Okay, okay.
It's like I'll have to like scale down. Like you're the first person I've like spent a minute explaining what monologue is. So
I'm so scared.
I'm in your head. No. You're fine. You're like you have to speak for like 3 times the length and say nothing interesting for it to really count. Yeah, you're fine. When there's this, I think some people when they cut corners are they're probably all going to cut corners, like that thing where I recently learned that the reason why people like golf, for instance, I haven't been able to get into it mainly because I don't know anyone who golfs, so I can't sit down to do it. But one thing that people like about golf is you can see a lot of how people operate. Like, do they cheat? Are they really into cutting corners? Because usually what people do in one area, they do in all the areas. And ever since I learned that in business, I love just like putting a board game down and that has so many different opportunities for people to cheat and just see how they do it. And you're right. Not just pharmacy, but anything. You can tell how quickly someone gives a shit. That was when I'm hiring people and I ask them, like, hey, why do you want to do X? Not like, why do you work for me, but like, why is this your thing? If they give me like a rainbow answer, I'll poke it a little bit. And then it's like, well, I want to make X amount of money. It's like, oh, that's fine. Great. Okay. Let's see how we can maximize that or whatever, you know? Like, the most times it folds pretty quickly.
It really does.
I usually, like, I think the thing is that people just have to get used to asking the questions to get through it. But
exactly.
When you are in that position where you are seeing a bottom line in red, and you're not going to cut corners because you're a good dude. What did you do when you were in that position, or what do you do to like find more money coming in? Like you market more. Like what can you do as a pharmacist to get out of that position?
The 2 most expensive things in pharmacy are payroll and inventory. For us, our biggest problem was inventory, meaning like our actual medications that we keep in stock. I was finding that most of the medications I was ordering were at a loss. And if you want, Lowell, I promise you we would talk about this. If we want to talk about insurance reimbursements, we can definitely talk about that. And that's part of the transitions that we went through at Stonebriar, was that we were a traditional pharmacy to start. And when I purchased Stonebriar, we did less than 10% compounding, less. And now we're almost at my cash business, meaning like no insurance business, is over 90%. And so I'm only relying on insurance companies maybe 10% of the time. And when you're able to shift into that was a hard thing to do, because most of the time when patients use their insurance, their medications are stupid expensive, right? And I have ways of making it cheaper for them without even using their insurance. And so when they know that transparency, where I can tell them, hey, this is how much I'm willing to charge you for this. This is how much your insurance wants to cost. Which one do you want to use? I leave it open up to them. If they want to pay more with their insurance, fine. But who's going to want to pay more, right? And so we transitioned into finding cheaper ways to get inventory. I cut our inventory from we were at 25,000 total in medications. We're now down to almost 7. Like that's how much we cut our inventory of just stock medications. And that's, over the year per month, that's almost $1,500 a year, a month, just in savings, just from inventory. So that was one aspect of pharmacy. You find new ways to order things. You find different avenues of how to help patients. Insurance companies are cutting reimbursements across the board for pharmacies, for primary care doctors, for specialties. They're taking forever to pay everybody. This is a very common thing. We have to figure out ways to combat that. And here for us, even for primary care doctors, there's a concierge medicine now, where you pay a doctor a yearly fee and you have access to him whenever you want. When I first got sick, I met Dr. Brian Lowry, and I wasn't even his patient yet. I was like, man, I feel like shit. Can you help me? And he took me with open arms. I wasn't a member. I was nothing. And now he's one of my greatest. He's my mentor now. I look up to everything with him. He's a staple here in the city that I live in. He owns Frisco Concierge Medicine. I'm friends with his family. His kids are working at the PGA up here, so I see them all the time. It's building around the insurance companies is what people are working on now. And we're lucky that we have a very affluent market. People want to pay for wellness. They want to pay for feeling good. And so they come to us for that. And so it's a changing of filling your traditional medications now to transitioning into, hey, we're going to beat your wellness side and make you feel better, not just show your labs looking better. Make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. So how, when you try to cut costs, not cut costs, but like get better deals when it comes to the inventory, do you go to the people who make it? Like, how does that actual process look like when you have something that's like 5,000? I'm curious, like how Mark Cuban is able to do like the big thing.
I'll explain it to you.
Yeah,
I'll explain it to you super easy. So we talked earlier about McKesson, about their whole idea share. They have a primary cost that they negotiate with insurance companies that they'll charge pharmacies, right? So let's say a very common medication is something called metformin. I took it when I had diabetes. Usually like you can buy a whole bottle of 500 for like $20-$30 through McKesson. I'm just making up a number.
Yep.
If I go through my secondary wholesaler, I can buy the same 500 count metformin, same manufacturer, same NDC, same everything for a fifth of the cost. Why? Like, why on earth am I paying more through one company where I get it so much cheaper from a secondary wholesaler? CVS and Walgreens, they don't have that, right? We buy from our wholesaler. We have negotiated prices. Don't buy it from anywhere else. We're independent pharmacies. I can find a cheaper way. And sometimes, the difference between, let's say a 30 count costs me $10 at one place and the insurance reimburses me $11 for that prescription. Let's say I bought it from $1 somewhere else. Now I'm making $10 rather than $1. And so it's that game that we have to play of where can I find cheaper ways. And so Mark Cuban, what he did was that he found these wholesalers, was like, hey, I'll buy it at XYZ and I'll make this cost XYZ based off of your cost. And I'll share that with everybody else. That's it. I can beat Mark Cuban's prices at my pharmacy easily. And I don't charge you delivery fees. I don't charge you processing fees or anything in that. We're under the Cuban network, by the way. We're one of the affiliate pharmacies for the Cuban card. But I've just found that, hey, mine's cheaper. So I'm going to do it my way.
You should put that on the website. That'd be I can beat Mark Cuban's prices.
I'm in Dallas, bro. It's a quick way to get my ass kicked.
No, just don't diss the sports team. I guess he owns.
That's true. Yeah,
the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, the Mavs. Yeah.
Well, I don't watch sports. The only way I can watch sports is if I put money on the game. Gambling's not good.
Have you tried Prize Picks before?
What's a Prize Pick?
It's an app. It's Prize Picks. It's like where you do what's it called? You do parlays of different players saying, oh, he's going to have X amount yards or more or less. And you have like, if you do 5 of them all at one time, you get paid out like 10 times or something like that. It's fun.
No, I haven't. So it's from what I'm looking at online, it's like fantasy football, which I have heard about, but I don't understand how it works at all. Okay. It sounds like if I'm inferencing from what you're saying, is you pick, like if you were a person, I'd say, hey, you get like 2 touchdowns. And if I'm right, I'm right and I get money. That's how that works.
Yes, basically, if you say, hey, Patrick Mahomes, Vegas will have it say he's going to have a touchdown and a half. Is he going to have more or less? And you just pick either more or less. And then you have 4 other players doing something else. And if you get them all right, you get all the money. It's like you have to get all of them right or nothing right.
Do you do that thing where like people like spend a Saturday, they get their whole friends together there and they have like the giant... people make memes of this.
That's one draft. The NFL draft. They do that one time. And we do ours virtually now. We used to do it together, but they're in Virginia and I'm here. So...
Do you do the tailgating thing when it comes to football?
Yeah, Oklahoma. My wife is Oklahoma Sooners, and we go out there and hang out the tailgate sometimes for games. Yeah, those are fun.
Yeah,
you really did do any of this stuff?
No. I played sports, but
what'd you play?
Football, wrestling, track.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, but I haven't been to one.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah,
I definitely.
Well, if I'm ever in Texas, I'll come.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, it'll be fun. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can always call me.
I would like the tailgating side of it. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, that's the most fun part. I mean, I played soccer, so I never got to see I was a kicker for a football team, but that was awful. Worst experience of my life.
Why? What happened?
I got bullied by freshmen, and I was a senior, bro. Those guys are huge compared to me. Like I'm like 6 foot, and they're like monsters and beefy, and I just get bullied by them. And and nobody likes the kicker. Everyone makes fun of the kicker. So,
I don't know. When I played football, no one made fun of the kicker, but I'm sure there was bullying going on in other ways. But
yeah, sure.
I would deliberately be friends.
Maybe
with
you were
guys.
the bully.
That's possible. That is possible.
Yeah,
You never know.
Right? If you say I don't see any bullying.
If I was bullying you, if I was bullying you, please email me, and I
Just
apologize.
let them know,
But
Lowell Thompson.
yes, my address is 11111. But so what's the difference between a physical pharmacy and a digital pharmacy from an operational standpoint? So if someone was listening in and they buy the contracts, everything you just did, but instead of keeping the physical one, they just made it digital. Is there anything really differential that they need to be in mind to do that, or is it basically the same thing, just without a physical place?
I think for a Class C pharmacy like I think you have to have a physical place. I think
Hmm.
there's different classifications based on whatever board that you're in. Some of them have like satellite pharmacies where they're like off-site kind of thing. Like some hospitals will have that. But a lot of times with these like hymns and stuff like that, they actually have a stand pharmacy somewhere, and they send out prescriptions from there.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
thinking more like a corner store. But there's
yeah,
a lot of the digital ones. They don't have like a corner store. They have like
like
a
a warehouse.
Amazon warehouse type thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So I know Amazon. That's one, right? Amazon Pharmacy.
yeah.
They have, but they also have like actual pharmacies too. Like they have one. Like if you go to Austin, where their facility is, there's a place
Hmm.
over there called I forgot the name of it. It's like Med Plus or something pharmacy, and that's actually there.
Hmm. And then what did it take to go from one pharmacy to, I think you said you had four or five?
Yeah. Um, we purchased them, right? So like we see that they're struggling or people want to get out of it. We purchased them. My business partner has had his since 2013, so he's on his 10-year anniversary over there. So he's been building that one for a while on the Fort Worth side. We actually have three now. I forgot we sold one, so we only have three now.
Hmm.
There's two near us, and there's one on the Fort Worth side.
Why sell one if they're profitable?
We don't have time for it.
Okay,
Yeah, it's easy.
it's a
So
scale issue.
yeah, so if I wanted to, right, I mean, I'm trying to get us lean, right? So we're trying to keep everything, especially with these like bad reimbursements and remodeling and rebranding that we're going through now. We want to keep things tight and then grow from there. So my goal now is that I want to move Stonebriar from our current location and actually have a bigger facility with a coffee shop in it. That's kind of what I want to do.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
I like that. Yeah, because
Drugs and
yeah,
brewing drugs, man.
I mean it's all drugs. It's all stimulants.
Yeah,
You know,
I
it's
love
like
it.
it's
Yeah,
affecting your states. Yeah.
yeah.
The what is there anything you need to do to have a coffee shop? Like, I imagine it's just a normal business. Like, you just
I think just
take care of it.
like a food license now, right? You have
Yeah.
to have,
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't have thought there was anything complicated compared to everything you've done previously.
Oh yeah.
The Yeah. What do you think about specialty pharmacists? Specialty pharmacies.
There, if you do it correctly, there are some good brands out there of especially here in the DFW market that have a big organization. A buddy of mine owns one here locally that has they have their license in many states. They can ship it all over the country. Um, I always tell people go local, meaning like these smaller pharmacies. There are larger ones like CVS Specialty. There are big ones that are doing really good things, but it's really hard for them to manage as many patients as they do. But they're all smaller pharmacies that actually have their license within many different states to ship it wherever you need to. Stay on top of your stuff. So be on top of your doctor. Know your diagnosis codes by heart. That's always something I always tell people. So, there's any questions about diagnoses when you're trying to fill a prescription? Make sure you know that by heart. And then also, dude, get to know your pharmacist. I promise you, they're super chill people. They know what they're doing. They care for you just as much as I care for you. And they want to get to know you. They want to get to know your patients. And once you get to know them on that way, they're going to look out for you. Every single time something goes wrong, like, hey, like for me, I have three patients that I know that come and see me once a week. Even if they don't need anything, they're just like this beautiful old lady that likes to come see me. And she just wants to talk about her cats. And I'm like, sure, we'll talk about your damn cats. That's fine. Miss Millen, I'm sorry. And if you get to know them at that level, then hey man, it's always good.
How do you so normally when I go to see my doctor, they just kind of slot in whatever's near me
Mhm.
when it's a normal one, but for specialty stuff, I don't remember. I have to like specifically, I only recently learned that you can specifically ask for stuff. So
Mhm.
how do you find a good local specialty pharmacy?
Google is a wonderful tool,
Just Google?
and
Yeah,
just
okay.
Google because the people, if people are more likely to review you in a negative way than a positive way, and you can really see the really negative things that they say about pharmacies, if there is one, right?
Mhm.
Stonebriar Pharmacy 5.0, just want you to know that. And other pharmacies very similar. They have a really strong rating. Maybe they have one or two bad experiences with patients, but if you fix their problem, they'll note it on Google for you, and you'll see real quickly how much people are hurt by it. And always check the Board of Pharmacy website. because it'll tell you on there if they have any sort of regulations. You'll see their last inspection. That's all public view. You don't have to log in for that. You can go to Texas. You can see Stonebriar had an inspection a couple of years ago, and you can see what was missing, what wasn't missing. All that's public information.
It's really useful information. Yeah, I didn't. Right now I don't talk to a pharmacist. I like because I have a specialty medication. I call an automated if I didn't have like I have a special thing now because I threaten people a lot in a nice way. There's a way to threaten people where they don't realize you're threatening them, and that's what I did. Because if you, as a man in particular, if you threaten someone, cops are like going to start coming raining down on you. Yeah. So,
man,
anyways,
try being a Middle Eastern man and try to do that. The FBI.
Oh yeah, that's true. I mean, they're probably already watching you. They probably listed somewhere.
Yeah, they're out
You're making compounds. Sure. You're making compounds.
Man,
they don't know
one of my patients is an FBI agent. So I guess I'm doing something right.
I mean, is he a patient or is he a plant to check in on you? It's part of his like detail.
No, now I'm scared. I don't know. He's a nice guy though.
Yeah, I'm sure he's fine.
No,
I doubt he's there. You totally like off the train.
Sorry, my bad.
My question. Do you remember? I don't remember what my question was.
You said threatening people.
I don't think that was my point. But the point was that a normal person would call and they get like an automated they get an automated system and they talk to a person who's like a customer service worker, and then they set the order and that's it.
Yep.
So then what do you do in that scenario? There's no pharmacist.
That's not local then, right?
Yeah. So just local, you wouldn't have that problem?
Locally, you wouldn't have that problem. You would be able to talk to your pharmacist whenever you want. Even for the pharmacies that are here that I told you about that have licenses all over the state, if you ever say, "Hey, may I speak to a pharmacist," and if they don't give you the pharmacist, that's a fine for the pharmacy. By the way, you can report them, and they'll get their license dinged really fast, so they know your pharmacist has to answer. And these bigger organizations are like, "Oh no, I got dinged, I got fined," but the smaller ones, like ones that are more locally owned, they're going to want to talk to you.
Is there like a time requirement for the dinging? Because I could probably work on like a campaign where everybody asks for a pharmacist and they're like made to wait an hour to get the ding or whatever, or is it just like as long as you get a pharmacist eventually?
I don't know if there's a time limit. I know there's limits for like, let's say I wanted to call your pharmacy and transfer a prescription to me. They have 24 hours to give me that. And if it goes more than that, I can report you.
Okay.
So I don't know if there's something similar.
CVS once did CVS from one pharmacist to another, one pharmacy for another pharmacy. They took 3 days of fighting it, and we had to call them a bunch of times. It's very annoying.
That is annoying.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah. I don't know, but if there's a ruling on these things, whenever you say you can get in trouble by something, at some point someone will care.
Every time I say, "Hey, you can report him with this," Lowell's writing something down. I don't know if this is a good or bad thing.
I'm just making a plan for something. But so you're working on tightening down, leaning down. I don't know if you've ever read the book Small Giants, but I recommend it to you because it kind of sounds like you're trying to
add to my list.
It's basically like you don't have to be a Google or an Apple. You can be a really small organization, tightly run, with a very specific thing that affects lots of people. And so my question basically is once you get it to that point where you have that leanness, you have 3. Is the intention to find people to parallelize what is required to run the pharmacy so you can expand horizontally?
Yeah.
Or do you want to have a vertical integration with a small local presence?
My goal,
big giant.
My goal is to be the known pharmacy within DFW. So I don't want more pharmacies. I want like Stonebriar to be like, "Oh shit, go CH. He knows Frisco," right? And specifically for us, for our city, we're the fastest growing city in the country. And I want to be a part of, being a part of that, right? I want them to be able to say, "Hey, this guy knows what he's talking about when it comes to wellness, nutrition, pharmacy. He's the guru." I want people to know that for us, and I want our pharmacy to be their location for all their wellness needs. That's my goal.
Okay. Yeah, Small Giant definitely would be a great book for you then.
I wrote it down. Who wrote that? Do you know?
No clue, but you won't find any other thing if you type in Small Giants book. It'll be the number one thing. Yeah.
Speaking, have you seen the movie Little Giants?
The one you have to describe it. I think maybe I have.
When there's like the little kids that play football, it's the Giants versus the Cowboys. They're like little kids.
No, I'm thinking a different thing.
Okay, you gotta watch that movie. It's so great. Little Giants. Make sure you watch the movie.
Okay. And everyone watching, listening in, if you watch it, give us a review.
Yeah. Great movie.
So inside pharmacies, outside of just owning and running one, what are the different career opportunities? I read that you get paid pretty well. So yeah, for someone who's in it, he has to hire and employ people. You think about this a lot, how to comp people fairly. So what what are the career opportunities that you think people don't normally see? And then what's it actually like? Is it comp well? What are the downsides? That type of thing.
Yeah. So I went to college for 8 years, got my undergrad degree from the University of North Carolina. And then I went to pharmacy school at Virginia Commonwealth University. So that's 8 years there. Luckily, my first 4 years were taken care of as far as the tuition costs, but I've graduated pharmacy school with about $180,000 in debt. That's just flat out how it goes. 4 years, $180,000 debt, 7.2% interest rate, which is mind boggling.
Wow. It's a
Yeah, it's
home loan.
stupid. Yeah. It's worse than a home. Well, now it's a home loan. Back when, when we got a house, it wasn't that. But anyway, so that's one of the biggest things is that you have to finish the schooling. There are residency options for pharmacies. I didn't do one because I didn't see the value in it. I just went right in and I just, started working as a pharmacist. If you decide to do a residency, you can get an extra year or two of experience that way. Yeah, CVS started paying people really well. I don't know their pay structure now. I think it's a lot lower now because one of the big issues of my profession is that there's just way too many pharmacy schools, and and so there's a lot of students that are graduating, and it's the market's getting pretty saturated, especially in actually the Midwest is like starving for people right now. I know they're like paying for pharmacists to move there. CVS was at least. So we pay pretty well, the 6-figure range, so that everyone gets paid accordingly. One, as you grow, depending on what you want to do with pharmacy, you can either become a pharmacy manager. If you want to keep going, become a district manager. You can keep growing from there. Specifically, the independent world, generally we pay a little bit less than like the big corporations do, just because we can't keep up with what they do. I pay my pharmacists and my technicians really well; they're happy. Other opportunities you could become, and one of the other positions I'm looking for is I'm actually looking for a marketer that's able to go see doctors for me and promote my pharmacy for me. And then you can either get paid as as an actual employee of the pharmacy, which is generally what we usually do. I used to have one marketer, but because of COVID, we stopped and we were focusing on other things during COVID. And so that's another opportunity. We're always looking for social media specialists. I always look for a virtual assistant. Technicians, I have pharmacy technicians that are the ones that are actually compounding the medication. I design the formula. I design the safety protocols, everything. They just actually use my stuff and make the prescriptions. There's compounding techs, there's lead techs. Right now, if I want to become like a wellness location, I want to have like an ability to have like another side where I hire like a nurse practitioner to actually see patients and then funnel their prescriptions that they're going to get to my pharmacy to fill at my pharmacy. So there's opportunities anywhere in pharmacy. That's the cool thing about our profession.
Yeah, it's interesting the model you're going for though. You're like stage coaching it almost. Like you're making this whole connected system. Is that like a normal thing for someone?
No.
Like not to say like you're abnormal, but like
yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. I know. I know.
No, I don't think it's crazy. I think from a business standpoint,
Yeah.
I think from a business and from a customer standpoint, from like if I'm a patient, I see a nurse practitioner or a doctor, I know that you're gonna maintain a standard, like the whole thing's taken care of. Like that's I wouldn't say that's crazy. I think that's an added benefit. Like that, I would enjoy that as a yeah.
All in one place. There's a lot of regulatory stuff that we had to get through to make sure that everything is done accordingly and it's safe. And there's a lot of upfront capital that has to be done for it. That's a part of the reason why we were trying to like consolidate everything so that way we can focus on one or two and then build it from there. The other pharmacy I know in Fort Worth, they're trying to move into a bigger location and trying to offer a different type of compounding, maybe some specialty. I'll keep you posted on that, Lowell. Don't you worry. So yes. We're lucky in that, thankfully COVID was good to us. We were able to stay afloat. I know a lot of pharmacies struggled, just to maintain things. But we were really lucky and we're able to stay, intact.
So when you're trying to build on that additional thing, what are some unseen expenses in doing that? Is it just the brick and mortar of it?
Yeah. I have to have an entirely set, like if I was going to do like a large building, let's say I get like a 2,000 square foot space, I have to have one entity be in charge of the healthcare side. I have to have another entity for the pharmacy, and they both have to have separate addresses per their board. Like the board of nursing has to have one, the board of pharmacy has to have one. And so I want to make sure we're doing things correctly. So everything I do, I send back to our pharmacy inspector to make sure she's happy with it, saying, "Hey, this is legit, this is clean." Like you keep going from there. So it's just that logistics side, and I mean to build it, it's expensive, right? To go like right now, my pharmacy is like 1,100 square feet, and maybe I want to go to 2,500 square feet or 4,000. Like if I said if I want to build a coffee shop within my pharmacy, then I need a bigger space and different licensing, different entities. making sure the bank records are smart, making sure that it looks pretty, right? We got to make sure it looks good, appealing to the eye. There's a lot of things, and see what the competition is doing. But if the only competition I can think of that's a really good one, and in Denton, Texas, which is where University of North Texas is, there is a pharmacy that sells guns and drugs. Seriously, it's a gun store. Yeah, it's perfect. I was like, man, I wish I would have thought of something like that. You sign someone up for their gun license or whatever they need, they automatically get added to the pharmacy network immediately. And then they're like, all right, well, I'm a patient for you too.
Yeah. I think some other industries you could get, like a gym membership,
gym
membership
cool.
type spa thing.
Yeah.
Like a whole like wellness retreat. The episode that went up recently was a ayahuasca psychedelic retreat that they set up in Colombia.
Heard about
I could see like, yeah, it seems pretty cool, especially the science and what people can do with veterans. Like just they're coming back and it's it's terrible for them. There's nothing you can do other than like SSRI in them, and well, that's hyperbole. There's a lot of stuff you can do, but it seems like there's
what they actually do. Yeah, what they actually do.
Yes. So, but I could see like you buying like a nice big piece of land in Texas and having like a gym, wellness retreat, like the whole package of wellness and healthness.
Wellness and hellness.
Yes,
that sounds awesome.
Yeah, well, you're welcome to take it.
Yeah, that's a good one. Wellness and hellness.
Would you? Are you? Yeah. What do you think of that? Are you going to go into that direction?
What about IV therapy? Like how you get like a rehydration thing. Like so, those like in Vegas, they if you get drunk too much, they have like IV. That could be something too. I don't know. That's probably a lot easier too, because I don't have to have a nurse. I'll just hire like a medical assistant that's able to just poke people.
I think I'm doing an in-person tour of a facility like that. That's doing like everything like wellness as it relates to aging. And they're like, oh, we'll plug someone while you're there. You can actually see what it's like. It's like, oh, as long as they consent, I guess.
That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, it's like a whole one-stop shop kind of thing. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. You just like own a block, like not just the number one in the city, but you own a block of the city. This is Hussam's house.
Yeah,
like signs everywhere of you in a lab coat saying, "Trust me."
Look at me. Thumbs up. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah. No worries. And then, so for books to either do well in business as it relates to your work, or just books in general that you've read that you recommend to me, assuming I want to build a specialty pharmacy, what would you recommend?
There are some that I like, and I had a feeling you were going to ask me this question, and I wish I can pull up my book list. Do you like Jay Shetty? Do you have an opinion on him?
I don't know who Jay Shetty is.
If you see his face, I'm sure you'll recognize him.
I've never seen this guy in my life.
Really? He's got a good podcast, and he's a little bit wacky, but he's got some good information. He's got a book called How to Live Like a Monk, which is really good for like centering and kind of helping like bring everything back into your median, because a lot of time when an entrepreneur, you tend to forget some of the smaller things like family and making sure you have that work-life balance that is so hard for someone, especially as a millennial man, trying to figure out that balance between work and home life. And I struggled with it. I still struggle with it, but it's something that I've been working on trying to improve myself. That's a really good one. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck is one of my favorite books of all time. I took that one to heart, and it really taught me how to just be your genuine self and don't be apologetic about it. I mean, as long as you're not a dick, then I guess that's a good thing to do. Gary Vee has some really good books around, branding and marketing. I think
fun for marketing.
Yeah, he's fun to market. That guy's wild. Have you heard of like some of his stuff? Like watch his YouTube channels or anything?
I've seen some of his stuff as it comes through.
Yeah.
But I haven't like ingested a lot of it. I just know what is like $1.90, strategy, branding and stuff like that.
Yeah, that stuff's good. And then here, I just found my book list. Think Fast and Slow. That's a really good one by Daniel Kahneman. And then my last one is How to Make Shit Happen. That's one for helping motivation, helping procrastination, because my biggest thing is I procrastinate sometimes.
I'm kind of I'm like outlining a book that would help with that. But
really? That'd be helpful.
Yeah, I'll send you an arc of it. It's about strategic boredom as a medium. Yes, it works actually a lot. The key thing is that most people spend most of their time on like quick dopamine hits, and then they are surprised that they're surprised that when they try to work, they get very little done. Yeah. So the idea is how to get more done and not screw your brain. But yeah,
with us, like I'm not, obviously I don't know how old you are, but with
I'm about your
millennials,
age.
I mean,
I'm
we
millennial.
yeah, so we struggled between the evolution of the internet, right, where we were around before, like when the internet started getting like high speed and stuff like that, and people attributed procrastination and laziness to ADHD, and how quickly people wanted to decide that, oh, this guy's lazy or he doesn't want to work hard right away, so he must have ADHD. I just sometimes just don't feel like doing anything.
Yeah,
You ever feel that way?
I always want to do something. I wouldn't know
Always,
how not to
really?
do something. Yeah, I don't ever not
Huh.
want to do. Like it's really, I do. Like there are times where I go on vacation, and it's really hard for me just to sit.
Really?
Not that like I like doing stuff. Like it
Hmm.
makes me feel good. Like I
Yeah.
like solving problems. Like I have friends who know that I enjoy it so much, they'll call me and tell me a problem. And I'll be like, oh, here's how you solve it.
Oh, Law, it's good to know this, man. If I have a problem, it's like, hey, man, are you bored?
Yeah, go ahead. It doesn't
Thanks,
matter what the
man.
problem is. As long as you understand the problem, I could probably solve it for you.
Okay, that's good to know. That's Hey,
Yeah.
man. If you want to weight loss help, I can help you with that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I assume it was
gotcha.
just you, attacking me. Like
Yeah.
randomly.
Yes.
Yeah, just like following me around with like a thing. I have a friend who I've offered to like ninja them to get them to like
Oh,
exercise more. Like just like
Yeah.
like you have to be able to outrun me. So you have to exercise to some level so you
Yep.
can escape me. So I've
That
told
makes
them like I'll
sense.
fly in randomly. You have to pay me for this. I'm doing this
Of
for free.
course. Of
And I'll
course.
randomly chase you. And you won't know what's coming. So you have to like train every day.
Yeah,
And
but
if I get you, I'm gonna water
what if you're
balloon you.
doing something important though?
What, them? Or me?
No, what if you're doing something important and I come and like ninja you? That's kind of rude.
I just think it's funny. What
I just
if I'm in a business meeting and you do that? I'll just be like, yeah, he's helping me be
so
healthy.
I don't know what this
He's
goes.
my pharmacist.
What is
He's
this
my
crazy brown man
pharmacist.
doing?
He's my pharmacist. He's here to help me. He's like, oh,
So
okay, medical stuff. You kind of get the right away with that stuff. But all right, books, we got that. Where can people go to stay up to date with your way of thinking if they're trying to find opportunities? So this is a two-part question.
yeah.
Stay up to date with what you're working on, and then find opportunities in pharmacy space. Maybe there's someone out there that's thinking, hey, I don't like my job, but they can be a part of a community. Like basically everything that someone wants sounds like what they would want to be like something in pharmacy, like be a part of community, do something meaningful. You actually see the impact of your stuff every day. So those are two parts of the question.
I before we move on, I had one question for you.
Yes.
Do you have any books that you recommend for me other than the Small Giants one you told me?
What is the biggest problem you're having right now, or some of the biggest problems you're having?
Right now, marketing is a big one, and the whole personal
20,
brand thing that I have that I'm trying to build.
22 immutable laws of marketing. It's about 100
22.
pages. Read it, memorize it, apply it to people around you that you've seen do
Okay.
well, that you like Gary Vee, etc.
Uh-huh.
And then like basically what I would say, read it and then make like a little like sheet of paper with all the different things and the key takeaways, and then
Okay.
like look at Gary Vee and then see how he uses them, and then apply for
Oh.
yourself.
Okay, I'll check
Yeah.
that out. Thank you.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
then I would suggest Never Split the Difference.
I think I've heard of that one.
It's really good, especially if you have to do a lot of negotiating. It's by Chris Voss. Big
Okay.
recommendation there. And then those are the two big ones. It's about branding and then marketing.
Mhm.
22 Immutable Laws of Marketing is probably gonna be the best one. And then like Losing My Virginity by Richard Branson. That guy's probably like one of the best marketing entrepreneurs that exists. Most marketing based entrepreneurs are kind of slimy, but he's quite nice.
They feel dirty, like almost like I need like a penicillin shot afterwards.
You get one complimentary. Like if they know who they are, they just like they load
It's
you
like,
up before
pick
they
this
start
up as you
speaking.
leave.
Yes, yeah. That way you trust them more because they take
Yeah.
care of the downsides. But yeah,
That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so your question. Okay. A couple things for me. I'm at Dr. Mix-a-Lot all over social media, TikTok, Instagram. Mix-a-Lot because I produce a podcast as well, but I also compound. So Dr. Mix-a-Lot. I also host a sports pharmacy podcast. That's brings in my passion of both sports, wellness into pharmacy. Have a lot of cool guests on there talking about, better ways to improve yourself, 7 vitamins that you've never thought of that you should be taking. I had a series on you don't need that Adderall when there was an Adderall shortage. Think of natural ways to help with attention and focus. My new thing on TikTok now, I love Taylor Swift, so I'm like just piggybacking off of her stuff. I talk about her favorite vitamins that she likes to take. Something stupid I like to do. And
what
as far
vitamins,
as
just to interject, what vitamins?
her
Like you can give a little teaser.
Yeah, favorite L-theanine. Helps with stress and anxiety. Helps kind of keeps level you off. That's one of my favorite vitamins too. And I'm gonna build you a vitamin list. Is what I'm gonna do just for you, Lowell. Is that fair?
That'd be nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I got you.
you want to like
I'll
ask me
make it
private
for you.
questions? We can do
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, I'm actually. Should we just ask it now? I'm just kidding. We yeah. So on LinkedIn and Facebook, there's a lot of really good groups of some really passionate people around pharmacy. For us, we have between my good friend Josh and I, we have a group called the Pharmacy Masterminds. We have like 1,500 users on there, and a lot of really smart pharmacy people in there that are teaching innovative ways of doing pharmacy or doing anything in healthcare. We welcome people to come in and check that out. We have the sports pharmacy group as well. If you ever want to, from the weekend warriors to high school athletes to college athletes to professional athletes, they're all in there thinking of ways to improve their performance. And just to reach out to people on LinkedIn, man. That's an easy way. People love talking about themselves. I mean, Lowell, you've learned about me, man, and how much I like to talk. And there's a million people out there like me, so it's the best way to do it.
Yeah, probably about 8 billion.
8 billion, probably. Yeah.
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 Yeah. All right. Then I want to thank you for coming on the show today, sharing your knowledge and your wisdom with us in the pharmacy space. And hopefully, anyone listening in, if you're going to do this, please message me. It means a lot to me. People have messaged me like years later. Oh, hey, by the way, I started a new job because I listened to this episode. Tell me sooner. It gives me fuel. So if you got someone from this, message me. I'll let you know about it too, because then that's pretty cool for you to come on. But thank you so much for being on the show today.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, Lowell. This is so cool. Millennial Mondays on Tuesday is my favorite. That's my favorite phrase I've heard in a while.
Yeah, I thought of it like 2 minutes before we recorded. I was like, you know what? That's silly because it's not going to be on Monday. So I'll just call it on Tuesday.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. That's true. I appreciate you, man.